Friday afternoon, April 7th, 2023. Baseball records. This video is about career total hits, focusing on Hall of Fame players only. Last video was number 1 through 80 on the list, ranked. Pete Rose, number 1, 42.56. Ty Cobb, 41.89 career hits. Went through the first 80, commented on some of them, how their production was. Some players produce better than others. Shorter years, more hits, better batting averages. But this is on total career hits. Number 81. If I turn away, I'm looking at my ranking list, and then I'll come back. So if I turn my head back and forth. 81 on the list. Jim Rice, 2,452 hits. So let's go through this. Next, Red Shishonsky, 24.49. Pie Trainer, 24.16. Mickey Mantle, 24.15. I'll comment on some of these guys as I go through the list. Also disappointed that Mickey Mantle did not get 3,000 hits. Played 18 years. If you average 150 hits a year, it would take you 20 years, right? 20 years times 150 would be 3,000 hits. So Mantle ends up with 24.15. He was a home run slugger, and career batting average 298. Two things with Mantle. I like his home run production. I like his RBIs. Had a lot of walks. Had a lot of strikeouts too. But he didn't get to 3,000 hits. And he didn't bat over 300 for his career. But Mickey Mantle is one of my favorite players because of his, what would you call it? Power from both sides of the plate. 536 homers for a switch hitter, number 1 all time. Let's continue down the list. Ryne Sandberg, 23.86. These are career hits, these numbers. Ennis Slaughter, 23.83. Ed Rusche, 23.76. Alan Trammell, 23.65. Carlton Fisk, 23.56. Orlando Cepeda, 23.51. Billy Herman, 23.45. Barry Larkin, 23.40. Jim Thome, 23.28. Eddie Matthews, 23.15. Jeff Bagwell, 23.14. Jim Botany, 23.13. Bobby Wallace, 23.09. Kirby Puckett, this is a guy, 23.04. You know, Kirby Puckett just played about 12 years and 2,300 hits. Let me do this. Let's look at Puckett's numbers, just to say a what-if scenario here. I'll bring him up. Kirby, there you are. Kirby Puckett. This is interesting. I think it's interesting. He died at age 45. That's young. But he only played 12 years, from 1984 to 1995. His career batting average, 318. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 200-hit seasons. 1 year he had 234 hits. But he ends up with 23.04 in 12 years. If he plays another 8 years, let's say he gets 150 hits in 8 years. 150 times 8. That's 1,200 more hits. 23.04 plus 1,200. You would have had 3,500 hits, Kirby Puckett, if he plays 20 years. So that's a case of a what-if scenario for Kirby. You know, even if he had 200 hits in some of those years, Kirby could have had a chance at 4,000 hits. If he plays 22 years, Cobb played 24, got 4,000 hits. Rose played 24 years, got 4,000. If Kirby Puckett plays 24 years, he could have had over 4,000 hits. What do you think of that? All right, let's go back to the list. So Kirby Puckett, he's number 98 on the career total hits, 2304. What if for Kirby? Dan Brothers, 2303. Tiki Kyler, 100 on the list, 2299. Hugh Duffy, 2293. This is another guy. We know that Hugh Duffy. Let me bring up his stats. He batted 440 one year. Wow, Hugh Duffy. I'm gonna bring him up. Here he is. This is another guy that's kind of interesting. 17 years, 2293 in hits. His last 3 years, actually, played from 1888 to 1906. His last 4 years didn't play very much. 55 games, 79 games, 18 games, 15 games. In those 4 years, if he plays 150 games, 154, whatever they played back then, he had a chance at 3,000 hits. His career batting average, 328, 326. This is a quality guy. He bats 440 in 1894. And it's not a fluke, because he had 237 hits in 539 at bats. If he just had like 300 hits, 300 at bats, and bats 440, you can question it. But if he has 539 at bats and gets 237 hits and bats 440, that's legitimate. And that's a record may never be broken. It's 440 batting average. So Hugh Duffy's another guy on the list. I could say, what if? Joe Cronin, 2285. Bid McPhee, 2258. Ron Santo, 2254. Edgar Martinez, 2247. DH. Mike Schmidt, 2234. Willie Stargell, 2232. Joe Sewell, 2226. Joe Kelly, 2220. Joe DiMaggio, 2214. Let's look up Joe DiMaggio. This is the guy. What a hitter. Would you say that Joe DiMaggio is one of the best hitters of all time? If a guy gets a 56 game hitting streak, he's got to be a good hitter. In fact, you can put him in the top 10 best hitters of all time. Joe DiMaggio plays 13 years and gets 2,200 hits. Again, if he plays 7 more years to get to 20, even 22 years, let's say 10 more years for Joe DiMaggio. 13 years plus 10 would be 23 years in a league. 10 years, 150 hits, or let's say 175 hits average. That's 1,700 hits. If he plays another, let's say, 10 years. 175 hits a year. I think that's good for Joe DiMaggio, right? Because look, he had some years, 200 hits, 215. He had 193 hits. So he has the capability of getting 200 hits a year. In his prime, he goes into the military for 3 years. He's in the military when he's 28, 29, and 30 years old. Don't you think that's prime years for Joe DiMaggio? Anyways, he's a what if. Because if he plays 10 more years and averages 175 hits a year, that's 1,750 hits, and you add that to 2,200 hits, Joe DiMaggio is on the brink of 4,000 career hits. What if for Joe DiMaggio? Man. Let's continue down the list. Willie McCovey at 111 on the list. 2211. Bill Terry, 2193, batted 400 in 1930. Pee Wee Wease, 2170. Billy Hamilton, 2164. Larry Walker, 2160. Yogi Berra, 2150. Duke Snider, 2116. Mike Piazza, 2127. John Ward, 2107. Archie Vaughn, 2103. Gary Carter, 2092. Harmon Killebrew, 2086. Scott Rowland, 2077. Just makes the Hall. You get 2,000 hits, and he made the Hall of Fame. Chuck Klein, 2076. Deacon White, 2067. George Kell, 2054. Johnny Bench, 2048. Bobby Dorr, 2042. Errol Averill, 2016. Johnny Mize, 2011. And Dave Bancroft, 2004. Just goes over 2,000. So that's 132 players I've listed. And Dave Bancroft is that, as far as Hall of Fame players, cuts off at 2,000 hits. The rest of these guys are under 2,000 for their career, yet they made the Hall of Fame. Jimmy Collins, listen to this, 1,999 hits. I gotta look this up again just to be sure. If we go to Jimmy Collins on baseballreference.com, Jimmy Collins. He played from 1895 to 1908. And he ends up with 1,999 hits. He must have got robbed. What if he got robbed during his playing career of 1 or 2 hits here or there? 1,999 hits. If I'm Jimmy Collins, I say, hey, I got to play 1 more game, 2 more games, 3 more games to get that 2,000th hit. But he didn't do it. He quit playing. Come on, Jimmy. Know your stats. 1,999 hits. You know, I commented it in the last video. How about this guy? I put this comment in the last video and I slammed him. Sam Rice, 2,987 hits, 13 hits shy, and he quits playing. Don't you want 3,000 hits for your career? I would. Sam Rice stops playing, 2,987 hits, 13 more hits, play 10 more games, 15 more games, get that 3,000, then quit. So Sam Rice and Jimmy Collins, no mercy from me. You blew it as far as your stats. All right, we're at Jimmy Collins, 1,999 hits. Sam Thompson, 1988. That's another guy. Should have had 2,000. Bill Dickey, 1969. Minnie Minosa, 1963. Gil Hodges, 1927. Tony Oliva, 1917. Gabby Harnett, 1912. Early Combs, 1866. Tony Lazario, 1840. Fred Baker, Home Run Baker, 1838. King Kelly, 1813. Ernie Lombardi, 1792. Lou Bargero, 1779. George Kelly, 1778. Travis Jackson, 1768. Elmer Flick, 1752. Fred Lindstrom, 1747. Rick Farrell, 1692. Joe Tinker, 1690. Johnny Evers, 1659. Mickey Cochran, 1652. Hank Greenberg, feel sorry for him, 1628. I'm going to pause on him. Hank Greenberg, why? Because he's another guy that went into the military. Oops. I'm still here. He's another guy that went into the military. Hank Greenberg. Let's put him in here. I want to make a comment on Hank Greenberg. He missed 3 years in the military. But here's a what if situation with Hank 1,300 games, 1,394 games, and he gets 1,628 hits. Again, if he plays 10 more years, averages 150 hits a year, that's 1,500 more hits. 12 and 15, he'd be close to about 2,800 hits, maybe more. Maybe he could join the 3,000 hit club if he played 10 more years, but he only played 13. And look at his career batting average, 313. And listen to this, he had 200 hit seasons. So Hank Greenberg's another guy that should be in the 3,000 hit club. All right. So, but he's 154. He's ranked 154 as far as Hall of Famers on the career total hit list. Buck Ewing, 1625. Phil Rizzuto, 1588. Joe Gordon, 1530. Huey Jennings, 1526. Jackie Robinson, 1518. Played 10 years, 1,500 hits. Give him another 10, 3,000 hit club, I think. Jackie Robinson. Larry Doby, 1515. Tommy McCarthy, 1493. Ross Youngs died young, 1491. Chick Happy, 1466. Hack Wilson, short career, 1461. Ralph Kiner, another guy, short career, 1451. Ray Chalk, 1345. Frank Chance, 1,274 hits. Roger Bergehan, 1,252. And number 169 on the list, last place as far as Hall of Famers with career total hits, Roy Campanella, 1,161 career hits. Of course, he played in the Negro League before that, but he didn't play long enough to. I would like to see Roy to get to 2,000 hits. But that's baseball records, total career hits. I comment on some of the guys. What if situations where you could have had guys really dominate as far as career hits if they had a longer playing career because they were on the pace. What do you think? That's baseball records, career total hits. Thanks for watching. I'm out.